If you've been told that you have leaky gut, it may be an overwhelming diagnosis or a condition, but I'm here to tell you that it is reversible. You can fix it. You can get back to feeling great and not have all the digestive or inflammatory or a brain fog or any other symptoms that you're dealing with that are connected to leaky gut. So in this video, I'm going to show you my process for reversing leaky gut so that you also know what you can do. My name is Noor Zibde. I am a functional and integrative dietitian, and I help people overcome digestive and inflammatory conditions with diet, lifestyle, and supplements. So let's get started. First thing, what is actually leaky gut? The medical term is intestinal permeability. And when your gut is leaky, that means it is allowing things to pass through that are not supposed to pass through. So in general, like a quick summary, your gut lining, your intestinal lining is made of a line of cells. That line of cells has a mucus layer. And on top of the mucus layer, there is a protective layer of beneficial bacteria. So your gut lining is actually made of 3 layers, and they are there to allow nutrients and food to come in, fully digested nutrients, and to block and prevent toxins, bacteria, their metabolites, their endotoxins, things that are not supposed to be in our food to enter through the lining to the bloodstream, where it can create, where these compounds can create problems throughout the body. So the gut should allow certain things to pass through, but not everything. So the gut becomes leaky or increased intestinal permeability when it happens too much. It becomes too leaky. The wrong things start to pass through, and they create inflammation and symptoms in the body. There are 5 main steps to heal leaky gut. Now, they can come in order. Sometimes the order of which step is first is going to be based on your symptoms and varies from one person to another. But these 5 things are going to be important for everyone to address in order to heal leaky gut. The first thing is we have to clean up the diet. What does that actually mean? Now, this can be very broad or very specific depending on your symptoms, but we can all agree that it is important to remove processed ingredients, especially things with seed oils and vegetable oils that are heavily processed, such as cottonseed and corn oil and soybean oil. Fried foods, especially at things at restaurants, you can use a little bit of olive oil or like avocado oil and grass-fed butter to cook your food, but fried foods, especially like the oils that get used multiple times, these become a problem. We want to take out sugar from the diet. That also includes artificial sweeteners, because sugar can feed the wrong microbes in the gut. A little bit of honey or maple syrup here and there may be okay, but in general, we want a low sugar diet. Taking out emulsifiers, so things like carrageenan, can also contribute to leaky gut. Alcohol is also a gut inflammation trigger, so that has to be taken out from the diet. When it comes to fiber, there are 2 different opinions. One opinion, no fiber at all. One opinion, to eat fiber to feed the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria. And I kind of like to be in the middle. There are certain fibers that can be harsh and hard for the digestive system. They may include lectins. Some types of fiber and carbohydrates feed bacteria. So if you have an imbalance in your bacteria, they're going to make you feel worse. So I like to stick with low fermentable or low FODMAP fiber foods. And we also want to eliminate food sensitivities and allergies. So when I'm working with people, clients individually, I'm testing them for food sensitivity, and I want to see what are their individual triggers, because food sensitivities result from the digestive system not breaking down food properly, and then in a leaky gut situation, the immune system will react to foods that are supposed to be healthy. It loses the ability to tolerate them. So if you know that you have certain allergies, you need to eliminate those, or food sensitivities. Or if you don't know, starting with the common allergens, maybe pick to take out gluten, dairy, corn and soy, peanuts in the beginning. And if that's not enough, then you could consider removing all grains or all nuts and eggs. Sometimes people react to those, but I don't find that to be across the board. So I don't recommend a super strict hypoallergenic diet unless needed. So what are we going to replace those with? We want to eat foods that is wholesome, things that a 5-year-old can recognize, things that are preferably organic, especially when it comes to produce, to pick organic for the dirty dozen. Grass-fed beef, organic chicken, wild-caught fish, this as much as you can whenever it is available. So the food is something that you can recognize and see that is not synthetic, that is not wrapped in plastic that you have to microwave. We want to try to incorporate as many antioxidants and as much as possible. These are polyphenols, they feed our good bacteria. So these may include things like pomegranate, blueberries, and cranberry, and green tea, maybe cabbage, but some maybe cooked, or cabbage juice, and other vegetables as tolerated, of course, and fruit. And we want to incorporate gentle fiber, of course, as tolerated. As I said, I tend to start with a low FODMAPs diet as opposed to being super strict with no fiber at all. And of course, if people have food sensitivities, we're focusing on the foods we know they are not reacting to in order to build their plan. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we want to build a healthy microbiome. You have trillions of bacteria in your gut, and in an ideal situation, you have beneficial bacteria that are doing good stuff, producing anti-inflammatory compounds. When we don't have good healthy microbiome, that can lead to leaky gut. So the first thing we can do is to incorporate probiotics. I'm a proponent of spore-based probiotics because they get my patients and clients good results. They tend to be tolerated for people with histamine issues, with SIBO, and other problems. But there are other types like Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a good beneficial yeast probiotic that can crowd out bad yeast. And it can support the immune system in the gut, but it can also cause constipation, so you have to be careful. And there are other types of probiotics that are specific to certain conditions. And then the probiotics, the live healthy bacteria, they feed on prebiotic fiber. So that's when we come back to the fiber conversation. Low fermentable, low FODMAP prebiotics, such as oats or berries, can be tolerated. And sometimes, depending on the situation, for example, I'm going to put here up on the screen, in this situation, this stool test tells me that this person has enough microbiome, looks diverse, looks that they have the key species. So we may not need a prebiotic fiber supplement. But in the next one that I'm going to show, in this situation, we see that the microbiome is very deficient overall, and then we see low beneficial key bacteria. In this situation, I may be recommending prebiotic fibers, and I do like partially hydrolyzed guar gum or sun fiber because that tends to be tolerated. It doesn't cause gas bloating and doesn't trigger SIBO, but can also gently and slowly feed the microbiome. So these are just some examples how we can improve the microbiome. Of course, we have fermented foods such as yogurt and sauerkraut and kimchi and things like that. You have to be careful though, because they are high in histamine. So in some cases, people are able to start with them. In some cases, especially if people have histamine issues, they're better off doing probiotic supplements and prebiotics. Put the histamine playlist somewhere in the description so you can check that out. The third step is that we want to improve digestion. Not only that will make you feel less bloated and less gassy, you'll be able to absorb the nutrients that you really need in order to heal your gut. Different types of digestive enzymes. I have a whole video on digestive enzymes. I like to start with broad spectrum enzymes. That's our combination of pancreatic and brush border enzymes. What that really mean, as long as it has a protease, amylase, protease for protein, amylase for starch, lipase for fats, and brush border enzymes, so maybe sucrase and invertase and a few of those, and also fiber digesting enzymes. We actually don't make the enzymes that break down fiber. The beneficial bacteria in our gut will do that for us. But if you don't have enough beneficial bacteria, mechanism is not working. So an enzyme that has breakdown fiber is going to be really helpful. Now, other things to help support digestion could be hydrochloric acid or apple cider vinegar. Usually I'm careful with these, especially if I'm working with someone with gastritis or ulcer or have H. pylori. So only if I know that's none of these are an issue. Apple cider vinegar can be high in histamine, and so it can be helpful, but it may not be for everyone. And of course, when we have motility issues, we really need to support bowel movements because in order to heal the gut, you got to get rid of the bacteria and the metabolites and the endotoxins. And if you're holding on to waste and stool, it is going to create more inflammation. It's going to stay in the gut and not make you feel so good, and defeats the purpose of healing your gut. So whether that's with food, lifestyle, certain exercise, magnesium, probiotics, and others. And I do have videos on constipation that you can check out as well. If you like this video, it would be great if you can hit the like and subscribe button, because that tells me this is an important topic and I'll make more videos on these subcategories. It also tells YouTube that this was helpful and it will share it with more people just like you. So thank you so much. The fourth step is that we want to heal the gut lining. We want to provide nutrition for the cells of the intestinal lining. So something like bone broth made from chicken or beef or any other type of bones is going to provide amino acids such as glutamine to help heal the gut lining. The thing you to be careful with is that bone broth is high in histamine, whether you get it in a powder form or you're making it and drinking as a soup. So just knowing that if you have a histamine issue, maybe that's something to delay. What we're really trying to get from bone broth is glutamine, and we can get glutamine in the form of a supplement in powder. And glutamine is the main nutrition for the cells in the small intestine. And people see a lot of benefit taking it on its own, and sometimes it's found in combination products. We also need butyrate. So butyrate actually is a short chain fatty acid that is a postbiotic. In a good healthy gut, you're eating fiber, the bacteria in your gut take up the fiber and produce butyrate and other short chain fatty acids. When we don't have a healthy microbiome, when we don't have enough beneficial bacteria and we're not eating enough fiber, we're not making enough butyrate, which is needed to nourish the cells of the large intestine. So sometimes I am recommending butyrate in the form of supplements, depending on somebody's stool test result. And eventually the goal is to get their microbiome to do it on its own. But sometimes if people are dealing with a lot of inflammation, butyrate can be really helpful. Other nutrients include zinc carnosine, which is a type of zinc that is supposed to nourish the cells of the intestine. Vitamin A is needed for the tight junctions, which are the things holding the cells of the intestinal lining together. They need vitamin A, and vitamin D is also important for immune function. And we know that there are certain herbs that help produce that mucus layer that protects the intestinal lining. So these are things like aloe vera, DGL or licorice, slippery elm, marshmallow root, even okra extract, chamomile. But we have to be careful that some of those contain fibers that feed SIBO or other bacterial overgrowth. So if you try any of these products and you feel more gassy and bloated, maybe it's better to delay them. And the fifth and last step is to eliminate or get rid of the imbalance in the microbiome. If you have an overgrowth of pathogenic or inflammatory bacteria, candida, or any other types of yeast or mold, parasites, H. pylori, SIBO, SIFO, any of these things are going to create long-term inflammation. So we really need to get rid of them for the gut to truly heal. So this was the last step that I mentioned. And sometimes we need to do that a little bit earlier. And sometimes it's later, depending on where that person is. So if you have a lot of gut inflammation, maybe you start with the other steps, because if you just go to try to tackle SIBO or any other imbalance or a parasite when your gut is not healthy, when you don't have enough beneficial bacteria to protect you, when you're not digesting nutrients properly, you actually may feel a lot worse. And I find that setting the gut up to eradicate and eliminate those pathogens or microbes is going to be really important to prevent die-off and to help you be successful and for your immune system and for your body to handle it. If this was helpful, I have something for you. In my program, Gut Harmony, I am teaching people how to do these steps in order to improve digestion, heal the gut, reduce inflammation, reduce digestive symptoms, so that you can do the things that you love in life and stop worrying about your symptoms. If you want recipes and meal plan and even specific supplements for any of the ones that I mentioned and how to take them, this is exactly what I'll be teaching. So depending on what time you see this video, I may have open enrollment or the waitlist. So make sure you click the link on the description so you can get access to this program and join me on this journey. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.